breaking news story, Washington moving to designate the Houthi movement as a foreign terror group. Let's talk to Marwan Kabalan, who's the Director of Policy Analysis at the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies. He joins us on the phone from Doha. Marwan, good to have you on. So the US says it's now planning to designate the Houthis as a foreign terror group. Why now, and how significant is this, do you think?
I think it's very significant, but we have been expecting it also for some time now, because this is part of the maximum pressure the U.S. is trying to put on Iran and its allies before it leaves office. I think this is probably the last chance that the Trump administration has in order to do that, because we all know that Trump will be out of the White House by the 20th of this month. It's significant because it might lead to undermining any future peace efforts, because if you designate someone as a terrorist organization, you won't be able to negotiate anymore with him. So this is something that the United Nations has been very concerned about, taking into account the peace process that is going right now between under the auspices of the United Nations. Although, I mean, sometimes we are seeing that this peace process is not actually making any progress. Nevertheless, this might be a very important blow to any peace office, led by the United Nations in Yemen.
Marwan, this issue of designation as a foreign terror group is very important, but many people ask the question, what does it actually mean when the US designates persons or organizations as a foreign terror group?
You can't talk to him anymore. And the Houthis are ruling Yemen right now, although, nobody actually recognizes them as a legitimate government of Yemen, but they are a very important party to the conflict in Yemen. So if you don't talk to the Houthis, how are you going to make peace in Yemen? This means actually that there will be no peace as long as you designate them as a terrorist organization.
And the statement goes on to say Iran has been arming the Houthis with missiles, drones, other weapons, and continues to destabilize the region. How much is this a final jab at Iran before President Trump leaves office?
Well, we all know actually that Iran is arming the Houthis and is supporting the Houthis. We have been, we know this for many years right now. And because of the Iranian support, the Houthis have been able actually to take over power in Sanaa. But on the other hand, as I said earlier, this is not this is going to be a very major blow to any peace offers in Yemen. You can't actually, as I said earlier, talk to al-Houthis anymore now if you recognize them as a terrorist organization. So it's very much like you are killing any attempt towards peace in Yemen.
Is this designation then likely to prevent UN or US diplomats from meeting with the Houthis? Because, of course, as you pointed out, the Houthis are critical to any political resolution, aren't they?
It will complicate the efforts of the United Nations. The United Nations will find it extremely difficult right now to talk to al-Houthis if they are designated by the United States as a terrorist organization. Of course, the UN can always say that they are not terrorist organization designated by the UN, so we can talk to them. But nevertheless, that will complicate things for the UN. Everybody is hoping right now that the Biden administration might actually just reverse that decision and may. It might not actually, this decision last for a long time.
Yeah, that's an important point you make there, Marwan, because I was going to ask you, what will this mean for Joe Biden and the new administration in Washington? Do they have the option of supporting it or vacating it? Or, could they throw it out because perhaps of the wider humanitarian concerns?
Absolutely. I think Biden will be focusing on Yemen as soon as he comes into office. And I believe most probably they are going to reverse this decision because they know very well that they can't proceed with the peace offers in Yemen while they are designating the Houthis as a terrorist organization.
All right. Marwan Kabalan, their Director of Policy Analysis at the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies. Thank you very much for talking to us. Let's bring in Hussain al-Bukhaiti. He joins me by phone from the Yemeni capital, Sanaa. He's a pro-Houthi journalist. Hussain, what's your response then to this designation as a foreign terror group, and what does it mean to you?
I was expecting this to happen like many months ago because Houthi here, they have an anti-US policy in the region, and I expected that the United States wouldn't like that and they will put them in the terrorist organization. But I do agree with the guest before that he said this action will actually undermine the peace process. But to be honest, this is actually will be in favor of the military wing of Houthi or Ansar Allah. The Houthi, because for the last 6 years, the peace process actually hasn't done anything. There is even here in Sanaa, they are blaming Mr. Griffith, the UN envoy to Yemen, to be biased towards Saudi Arabia, and that he is not actually trying to bring peace into Yemen. And this is all, and with this latest decision, will have actually a bad effect on Saudi Arabia, because if you are not talking with the Houthi, if there is no peace process, this means the military action will be the only answer to lift the blockade on Yemen and to force Saudi Arabia to stop the war. So that's why I think this decision actually it could stop the war faster than the peace process, because then the military wing here in Sanaa will be the one who have the upper hand to stop the war and the blockade against Yemen by striking deep inside Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, and the statement goes on to say that Iran has been arming the Houthis with missiles, drones and other weapons and continues to destabilize the region. How do you react to that? And is this really all about maximum pressure on Iran, do you think?
I think if what they say is true, because there is blockade on Yemen, actually, I don't think that Iran can smuggle anything. But if let's say it's true, this will have no effect to stop Iran from supplying weapons or support to Ansar Allah, the Houthi. I mean, the Hezbollah is a list of terrorists. I mean, was there any effect on Hezbollah or in Iran? Iran has been 30 years under some kind of blockade. I mean, this decision from the United States, they actually only want to serve their foreign policy. But to be honest, they are not going to help the Saudi. They are not going to affect in any way Ansar Allah, the Houthi here in Sanaa, because they have been under blockade and war for 6 years. So this kind of decision actually will not have a single political or military effect on them.
Hussain, let me ask you one final question. I mean, what do you think the humanitarian impact of this foreign terror designation will be? I mean, of course, Yemen has suffered for many years under this conflict. Thousands have died, have been displaced. There's been cholera, there's been famine, starvation. What do you think the broader humanitarian effect of this designation will be?
I think the major effect and all the effect it will be in the humanitarian situation, because designation to designate one of the important group in Yemen or in the conflict that's in Yemen as a terrorist organization, this will undermine the peace process, and the peace process means this will have a bad effect on the humanitarian situation on Yemen. But on the other hand, this will actually increase the choice of military action to stop all that. And the only way to stop this humanitarian situation in Yemen and the blockade and the closure of port and airport in Yemen is in Saudi Arabia. And I think, and I'm sure that the military leaders of Ansar Allah, Houthi here in Sanaa, and as well the Sanaa military leaders are happy now with this decision, because they have some kind of conflict with the political leaders in Sanaa to deal with Saudi Arabia. That's why I think this is a huge gift for them to take now to take the situation and to take the decision to attack Saudi Arabia.
All right, Hussain al-Bukhaiti, thank you very much indeed for talking to Al Jazeera. Thank you.